Hello! So today I'm going to be talking about the new Tarte Double Duty Beauty Empowered Hybrid Gel Foundation. Yes, it is a mouthful, but overall I think I'm starting to like it. And I say starting because I had a very rough start with this foundation, which I'll get into a little bit later. So it comes in this cute little box, purple, as the detailing on the inside that it does on the jar itself, which looks like this. It is a very sturdy glass jar, so no traveling with this in my opinion, because it is super heavy and it's glass. When you open it up, it has a protective covering here, and I kept mine on because it makes a mess. And I still clean it, and it's still a mess in there each time you use it. Looks like this. Very photogenic. It's wonderful. It's like exactly what it says it is, a hybrid gel. So it's like moussey gel amazingness. But it is very messy, and each time you replace it, more foundation comes out. So you constantly have to clean it. It is a mess. So my experience. I started off using my Real Techniques buffing brush because this thing hasn't failed me until now. I used the Smashbox primer, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. I used my Faced Hangover, and it didn't really work with this, and the buffing brush. It kind of made my skin look very streaky, like the foundation sat on top of my face. If you touched it, foundation would just wipe off and leave a huge section where there's no foundation left. So it was very streaky and very thick, which I was surprised about because so many reviewers said it was so light and perfect, but I felt it was very thick. Learned after the first time applying it, very, very little goes a very, very long way. So use even smaller than what you think you might need, and then build it up from there is my recommendation. Back to the buffing brush. Didn't look right. It kind of made my pores look saggy, if that's a thing. It did. I don't know. So I was kind of giving up on this foundation. Searched the internet, came across this one where the girl tried a beauty blender. And I was like, oh, I have a beauty blender, but I hate it. So I decided to give it a shot anyway. So I tried it one side beauty blender, one side the buffing brush, and let me tell you, it made the world of difference. I've never had a problem with my Real Techniques buffing brush, so I can't say anything bad about it, but it did not work with this foundation. The beauty blender worked so much better. I was so happy to find that that worked. Now they do sell a brush with this foundation with a little scooper on the other end, even though I'm sure it works amazing, and that's the point of the brush. But I don't know, call me cheap or something, but I feel like any brush should work, especially if it works with other foundations. I don't know, that's just my thing. Since I don't want to stick my fingers in the jar, I actually use this little scoopy thing from the erase paste that I never use for that. This actually scoops out like the perfect amount. I will say when you do start to build it up, it does start to look cakey and thick, but still in pictures you can't tell. Now with that said, I do have to powder this. If I don't, it's gone. Like, bye-bye foundation. Don't think it lasts very long. Did not last 12 hours, that's for sure. I've tried it with different powders. I've tried it with like my MAC Skinfinish. I've tried it with like e.l.f. high def powder. Tried it with the Tarte's whatchamacallit powder. I'll include it below. And those all seem to work equally as nice. I was kind of disappointed at first because it made my skin actually look drier, and it's supposed to be very hydrating and plumping, and it was just very confusing to me at first. I think with the beauty blender, it definitely is a bit more hydrating and less drying, but you have to put powder on top of it anyway, otherwise it's gone. So it kind of defeats the purpose of it being a hydrating, plumping foundation. So basically my overall pros of this foundation is that it does feel very nice on the skin. It is a luminous finish, not exactly dewy, like it's not like I'm shiny, but it's very skin-like and refreshing looking. It does have a lovely rose scent. It's not that overpowering. Like, I'm very particular with scents and very sensitive to scents. Like, I can smell something like a mile away. Once I put it on my face, like, I don't smell it anymore. And it is nice. It's a nice fragrance. It's not like thick perfumey. It's like more natural rose flower fragrant. So I like that. You might not like it, so I'd go and smell it if you can. It does have nice coverage. If you start off with a very thin layer and then build it up in spots, it does have nice coverage. For my con list, it does wipe right off your face. Even a thin layer, and you touch it, it's like, oh, despite what people say, it does cling to dry patches. Definitely moisturize beforehand. Let's see. Oh, it looks very cakey if too much is applied. So start off little, build it up, see how you like it. It does look like you're wearing foundation in person. In pictures and in photographs and stuff, it looks flawless. It looks like you're not wearing anything. It's just your skin is fabulous. So like I said, it isn't very long wearing. I actually asked on the Tarte website, like, oh, how do I fix this problem? And they're like, oh, buy our new Double Duty Beauty powder foundation. You could put that on top. And I was like, oh, no thanks. More foundation on my foundation just to make my foundation last longer didn't seem like the right answer to me. So if you find a way to make it last longer, I'm all ears. I'm really open to suggestions here. Just putting that out there. And the last thing, the packaging is very cumbersome and heavy, so I said no traveling for me, but it is beautiful and it does look nice, you know, on a little tray or whatnot. So yeah, those are my overall thoughts on this foundation. Definitely go to the store and try it out. Don't just, you know, pick it on a whim online. I would say play around with it, you know, test it out in your nearest Ulta store. It's very tricky. Like, I feel like I have to work very hard to make this foundation work for me, but I do like it. So I was willing to put in the work because it does look very nice. So anyway, I think that about wraps up my thoughts, my experiences with this foundation. Like I said, if anybody else has any experience with this or knows how to make it look amazing in real life, I'm all ears. I'm totally up for suggestions. Leave them down below, link your videos, whatever. I want to hear it. I want to know how to make this foundation work for me better. So yeah, I think that's it. If you want to know more, you can go on Ulta's website and they do list a bunch of, for an example, a bunch of really cool, like, nifty, this foundation is miraculous facts. It has barley extract, you know, which is supposed to help restore the lipid barrier and smooth over fine lines and wrinkles. All sorts of fun words that I'm not going to try and pronounce. So go on Ulta's website, read all about it, see if you're interested. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Thanks for watching, and see you guys soon. If you can suggest other brushes, why can't I talk? If you oh my gosh, if you can suggest all its super scientific new additions like poly, whatever.